This is the sound that Thoth, the scribe of the gods, considered so dangerous that it had to be erased from history. It's not a weapon. It's an activation code for your energy, and today I'm going to teach you how to use it. In just 55 seconds, this frequency, produced by your own body, not only clears your energy, resets it at a cellular level, and the proof that it works starts now. Just by reading the title and clicking on this video, a part of you already recognized this calling. You felt a curiosity, a shiver, an intuition that this is real. That's just the echo. What happens when you learn the correct technique to chant the original sound is what the ancients feared. Stay with me, because throughout this video we're going to practice together. And I guarantee you, the way you feel energy in your body and how the world responds to you will never be the same again. You're about to find out why it's so dangerous. In the earliest civilizations, from pre-dynastic Egypt to the Indus Valley, sound was the fundamental tool of creation. The ancient masters didn't ask the universe, they instructed it through specific frequencies. They knew that every word, every syllable, and every tone generated a ripple in the fabric of reality. And they mastered the art of modulating these ripples to manifest concrete results in the physical world, from healing the body to influencing the weather. Imagine temples like Karnak and Luxor, not as mere places of worship, but as gigantic musical instruments made of stone, designed with sacred acoustics. Every chamber, every pillar, and every corridor was meticulously built to resonate and amplify specific sounds. When the priests chanted in these spaces, they weren't just praying. They were activating a sonic technology capable of altering the consciousness of everyone present, restructuring the molecular geometry of water, and aligning the human energy field with cosmic currents. Sound wasn't a representation of the divine. It was the divine voice in action. The Hermetic principle, the universe is mental, was the foundation of this science. If everything is, at its core, consciousness vibrating at different speeds, then sound becomes the most direct tool to interact with this universal mind. It is the source code of our three-dimensional reality. While today we use binary code to program computers, the ancients used vowel codes to program matter itself. They understood that the right frequency, sustained with focused intention, not only calmed the mind, but literally reorganized chaos into order, illness into health, scarcity into abundance. This wisdom wasn't limited to grand constructions. It permeated daily life. A farmer could chant a sound to fertilize the earth. A healer used vibrations to realign a broken bone. And a leader spoke words that not only inspired, but transmitted a frequency of coherence and courage to their entire people. Sound was medicine, architecture, and governance. It was the tangible bridge between the invisible world of intentions and the visible world of forms. Proof that consciousness is not a mere spectator of reality, but its main architect. The correct sound, therefore, was the key to sovereignty. It allowed an individual to align their personal microcosm with the universal macrocosm, becoming a direct channel for the creative energy of the source. There was no need for intermediaries, because every person had the potential to become their own master, their own healer, their own creator. Matter wasn't seen as something solid and unchangeable, but as dense energy, ready to respond to the correct vibrational instruction. It was a world where the human being was not a victim of circumstance, but the conductor of their own energetic symphony. But if this technology was so powerful and liberating, why did it disappear? Why have we been reduced to believing that sound is only for entertainment or basic communication? The answer is as simple as it is disturbing. That autonomy was considered too dangerous. A human being who masters their own frequency cannot be controlled, cannot be subdued, cannot be kept in a matrix of fear and dependency. And that's why a deliberate silencing project was put into place, planned to erase this science from collective memory and make us forget the power that resides in our own voice. This silencing project wasn't a mere accident of history, a loss of knowledge caused by wars or natural disasters. It was a meticulous strategy implemented over generations to disconnect humanity from its inner source of power. Sound, that reality engineering tool, was methodically suppressed because it served a specific and dangerous function to any control system. It lit the inner fire. This is not a poetic metaphor. It's a description of a real bioenergetic activation, primordial energy that the initiates of Thoth learned to awaken in the secret rituals of the Temple of Sekhmet, the lioness goddess of transformation and healing. Inside these temples, in acoustically perfect chambers, the initiates didn't just meditate in silence. They were guided to use a specific sound that worked like a tuning fork for the soul. By chanting it, they activated a vibration that resonated directly with the energy of the fire serpent, the Kundalini, dormant at the base of the spine. This ignition wasn't just a feeling of warmth, it was a force that rose up the spine, purifying the energy channels and activating higher perception centers. With that fire lit, they could access hidden layers of consciousness, navigate through other dimensions, and, as some texts suggest, even bend the perception of time and space. The phrase whispered among the hierophants, "He who remembers, commands," held the secret. To remember here didn't mean to recall a fact with the mind, but recordus, which in Latin means to pass through the heart again. It was an act of vibrational reactivation, of bringing back into the body the memory of its true divine nature. When an initiate remembered their connection to the source, they stopped being a pawn in the game of life and became a conscious player, able to command their own energy and, as a result, their reality. This was the true power sound awakened, spiritual sovereignty. With the suppression of that knowledge, humanity plunged into what we can call the Great Disconnection. Spirituality, which once was a direct experience, felt in the body and proven in practice, was downgraded to a belief system. The power that was once recognized as internal was projected outward, handed over to distant gods, external saviors, institutions, and governments. The key to our own energy was voluntarily handed over in exchange for a false sense of security. We began to believe we needed someone or something outside of ourselves to connect us, to heal us, to save us. The sound that once created worlds was replaced by empty words, prayers repeated without intention, mantras stripped of their original vibration. Communication became noise. People kept talking, but stopped vibrating. And so, humanity entered a state of collective amnesia, forgetting that the most powerful tool for transformation was always in their own throat, waiting to be used. The prison wasn't built with stone walls, but with barriers of silence imposed over the truth of our innate power. But here's the good news, the twist in this story of forgetting. The sound wasn't destroyed. It couldn't be, because it's part of the fundamental structure of the universe and of ourselves. It's not locked away in a vault or in some ancient book. It survived, encoded in our own energetic DNA, in our cellular memory, patiently waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered. And that moment is now. The frequency is rising, the veil is thinning, and humanity is ready to hear again. And you are about to discover the name of that sound. And then, after ages of silence, the secret emerges from the depths of forgetfulness as a complex formula or an incantation in a dead language, but as the simplest and most fundamental vibration of existence. The sound is I am. But before your mind turns that phrase into just another positive affirmation you already know, understand that we're not talking about an intellectual concept. It's not the I am that describes your limitations, like I am tired or I am anxious. That's the sound of the prison. The true I am is an activation code, a declaration of existence that reverberates from your divine core to the entirety of the cosmos. When you chant this sound not with the mind, but with the totality of your being, with focused intention to claim your true identity, a cascade of bioenergetic events is set into motion. The first thing that happens is that your magnetic field, the torus of energy that radiates from your heart and surrounds your entire body, begins to reorganize. It shifts from a chaotic, fragmented state caused by daily stress and dissonance into a pattern of perfect coherence, turning you into a powerful, stable antenna capable of transmitting and receiving energy in a clear and harmonious way. At the same time, your physiology responds in a profound way. The sound I am vibrated consciously sends a clear signal to your nervous system that you are safe. It instantly shuts off the fight or flight response, the survival mode that keeps your body in a constant state of alert and tension. Your mind, which once operated from fear and scarcity, exits that vicious cycle and enters creation mode. The energy that was used to defend yourself from the world is now released to build the reality you desire from a place of calm and centered power. It's at this point that your body remembers its innate ability to self-heal. Every cell in your being contains a primordial intelligence. But that intelligence can only fully operate when the frequency of fear is removed. The vibration of I am works like a master tuning fork, realigning every cell to its original frequency of health and vitality. The correct sound signals to your immune system, to your endocrine system, and to all your organs. That balance has been restored. Healing is no longer something you seek outside, becomes a process that blooms from the inside out naturally. Thoth, in his wisdom, taught that the word is the bridge between the invisible and the real. He knew that words carry power, but that the true power lies in the resonance behind them. To speak truthfully, as he said, is not to speak with intellectual conviction, but to vibrate in total alignment with the spoken word. When you chant I am, you are building that energetic bridge. You are embodying the truth that you are not just a body or a personality, but the very creative consciousness expressing itself in human form. You become the word. But here lies the key that separates simple repetition from true activation. It's not enough to just say the words. You have to learn to vibrate this sound from the correct point in your body, with a clear intention, and for a specific amount of time in order for the transformation to be sealed into your biology. There is a technology behind the practice, a reason why it works with such precision. And now that the sound has been revealed, you need to understand exactly how and why this practice is so effective and why a specific timing is the key to unlocking your full potential. The insistence on a period of 55 seconds isn't a mystical whim or a symbolic number chosen at random. It's the result of a deep understanding of human physiology and the laws of energy. Knowledge the ancients had through direct experience, and that modern science is only beginning to validate. This specific amount of time is the minimum required for the vibration of the sound to transcend the noise of the conscious mind and penetrate the deeper layers of your being, where true reprogramming happens. It's a time portal that allows the transition from one state of being to another. When you begin to chant the sound, the first few seconds are usually dominated by the resistance of the mind. Thoughts like "this is weird," "I'm not doing it right," or "what am I going to eat later?" pop up to try to sabotage the process. This is the threshold, guarding the ego, trying to keep its control. However, if you persist and sustain the vibration, around 30 seconds in, something starts to shift. The mind begins to give way, realizing its resistance is useless. It's at this point that the frequency of the sound starts to be truly absorbed by your nervous system. That's when we enter the domain of heart coherence, a scientifically measurable state where the rhythms of your heart, brain, and respiratory systems sync up. Sustaining the sound for a few more seconds, getting closer to the 1-minute mark, induces this state of internal alignment. Your heart stops beating in a chaotic and erratic way and begins to pulse in a smooth and harmonious wave. This wave of coherence sends a powerful signal to every cell in your body, letting them know that everything is okay, that you are in a state of safety, love, and balance. This heart coherence, in turn, activates the vagus nerve, a superhighway of communication that connects the brain to the body's major organs. When activated, it acts as a natural brake on the stress response, lowering inflammation, calming anxiety, and promoting feelings of well-being and social connection. At the same time, your brain starts to shift its electrical activity from high-frequency beta waves, associated with stress and focused thinking, to slower alpha and theta waves, associated with deep relaxation, intuition, and creativity. If you hold the vibration for the full 55 seconds, you can even begin to generate gamma waves, the fastest and highest frequency brain waves, which are linked to peak states of consciousness, deep insights, and feelings of oneness with the whole. What Tibetan monks achieve after hours of meditation, you can begin to access in under a minute using the technology of sound. This time frame is therefore a precise calibration, the exact time needed to move your consciousness through different layers, from mental resistance to physiological coherence, and finally to spiritual expansion. What the ancient sages knew by intuition, science is now starting to prove in laboratories. 55 seconds chanting "I am" isn't a faith-based ritual. It's a neuroenergetic reprogramming technology. It's the minimum time required for the vibration to pierce the veil of the analytical mind and be registered by the body as your new dominant operating reality. But if this technology is so accessible and powerful for the individual, that brings us to an inevitable and dangerous question. What would happen if everyone knew about it? Now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the most hidden point, and the real reason why this knowledge has been so carefully guarded and classified as dangerous. The danger was never for you, the practitioner. The danger was always for the systems of power that were built on your belief that you were powerless and separate from the source. Imagine, for a moment, a world where every individual knew that within their own voice lies the key to reactivating their original energy, healing their own body, and accessing higher wisdom without the need for any intermediary. What would happen? The answer is simple. The empires of control would collapse. Not just the external empires like governments, corporations, or religious institutions that depend on your submission, but also the internal empires, the structures of fear, guilt, and insecurity that have been programmed into your mind. If you knew that all it takes is chanting, "I am with presence," to feel whole and connected, why would you seek external validation? Why would you need a guru to tell you who you are, or a system to give you permission to be happy and prosperous? The truth is, there would be no more spiritual hierarchy. The idea that some people are closer to God than others would instantly dissolve. Every human being would become sovereign in their own right, a direct access point to the divine. Dependency, which is the currency of all control systems, would cease to exist. And a human who is not dependent cannot be manipulated. A being who remembers who they are cannot be convinced they are less than what they truly are. That's the real threat this sound represents to the status quo. That's why Thoth hid this knowledge within symbols and metaphors. His intention wasn't to deny access, but to protect it from trivialization and misuse. He knew that only those with a pure heart and a sincere quest for truth would be able to decode the code. He knew that the correct sound destroys the veil of illusion, and that illusion is the fundamental belief in separation, the illusion that you are small, fragile, sinful, and need something or someone outside yourself to feel whole and safe. This sound dismantles that fundamental lie. It destroys the personal empire of fear that rules most people's minds. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of scarcity, the fear of the future, the fear of death. All of these fears are byproducts of the ego identity, the false identity that believes it's separate from the infinite source of life and intelligence. By vibrating I am, you realign with that source, and in the presence of that connection, fear can't survive. It dissolves like a shadow in the presence of light, because fear is just the absence of remembering who you truly are. And when you practice this sound truthfully, the entire universe changes the way it interacts with you. It stops responding with mirrors of lack and struggle, because you've stopped emitting the frequency of need and scarcity. You stop being an echo of the world's programming and become the very voice of creation. You stop asking and start being, and it's in that state of being that true magic happens. BECAUSE. Now the transformation is no longer just internal. It's about to overflow and reshape your world in ways you never imagined possible. And here is the promise, the point where theory fades and direct experience takes over. Before any visible change manifests in your outer life, in your relationships or finances, the transformation happens first on a much more intimate and undeniable level in your own body. When you chant I am with coherence and presence, you don't need to believe something is happening. You don't need faith. You just need to pay attention, because your body, your most honest and sensitive antenna, will start giving you clear, physical signs that the frequency shift is real. One of the first sensations many practitioners report is a subtle warmth or electric tingling that begins in the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. This isn't imaginary. It's physical proof that your vital energy, chi or prana, which had been stagnant in various parts of your body due to stress and emotional blocks, has started flowing freely again. It's your energy system rebooting, like a river that, after being dammed up by debris, finally breaks through and flows again with power and vitality. Next, the sensation tends to concentrate in the center of your chest, around the thymus gland, which is the center of your physical and energetic immunity. You may feel a clear and distinct vibration in this area, like the gentle hum of a motor starting up. This is your heart center opening, your inner sun beginning to shine. This gland, which tends to atrophy with age and stress, is reactivated by the frequency of love and self-acceptance inherent in the sound I AM, strengthening your ability to stay healthy and vibrationally protected from external energies. Often, that vibration in the chest is followed by a chill or shiver that rises up the spine, from the base to the top of the head. This is the physical manifestation of the Kundalini energy gently awakening and beginning its upward journey through your main energy centers, the chakras. Each shiver is a sign that an energy blockage is being dissolved, that an old pattern is being released, and that your consciousness is expanding. It's your spine, your cosmic antenna being tuned to a higher, clearer frequency. You'll also notice a dramatic change in your breathing. Suddenly, effortlessly, it will feel like your lungs can hold more air, more life. Your breathing becomes deeper, slower, and more complete. This happens because the sound vibration relaxes the diaphragm and intercostal muscles, which are chronically tense in most people due to anxiety. This expansion of breath oxygenates every cell in your body, calms your mind, and anchors you firmly in the present moment, the only place where true power exists. This isn't psychology, it's pure energetic physiology. Your body is the first to register the shift, to tune into the new frequency in real time. As the Egyptian initiates used to say, do not invoke with your lips what your soul cannot sustain. But when the vibration is real, when your soul and body hold the sound together, something extraordinary happens. The energy field you emit changes its signature. And by a fundamental law of the universe, the law of resonance, the world around you has no choice but to begin to reorganize itself to mirror this new and powerful vibration of yours. And when this new vibrational signature starts to stabilize, you enter a new phase of the journey, alignment. Mental clarity becomes sharper. Calm is no longer a goal, it becomes your natural state. However, it's precisely at this point of apparent tranquility that a new and unexpected challenge rises from the depths of your soul. Think of it like turning on a bright light in a basement that's been dark for decades. You don't just light the path, you also reveal all the dust, cobwebs, and forgotten objects that were hidden in the shadows. The light of I Am does exactly that to your consciousness. Thoth, in his deep wisdom, taught that the word awakens memory, but the fire reveals the spirit, and the spirit does not tolerate what is false. The vibration of I Am is the word that awakens the memory of who you are, but that remembrance ignites a purifying fire that begins to burn away everything incompatible with that new truth. It's the echo of the soul, the resistance of your old self, now showing up not to tear you down, but to finally be seen, faced, and integrated. It's proof that healing is happening on a much deeper level than you imagined. At this stage, you'll start to notice the emergence of internal resistances that seemed dormant. Limiting beliefs you didn't even know you had, like "I don't deserve this" or "this is too good to be true," will surface with surprising strength. Old fears, childhood traumas, and patterns of self-sabotage that used to run on autopilot now become visible and uncomfortable. They're like ghosts being exposed by sunlight, screaming for attention before they dissolve. Don't fight them, just observe. They are proof the poison is leaving the system. This purification process isn't limited to your inner world. It spills over into your outer reality in surprising ways. Places you used to go may suddenly feel heavy and suffocating. Relationships and friendships built on complaining, drama, or superficiality may become vibrationally unbearable. You'll feel physical and emotional discomfort in these environments because your energy system, now tuned to a higher frequency, actively rejects what is no longer in resonance. It's your being saying no more to anything that drains your life force. Don't interpret this as a step backward or a sign the practice isn't working. On the contrary, this is the clearest evidence that it's working perfectly. You chanted "I am," and now your system is actively cleaning house, rejecting everything that contradicts that fundamental truth. Every discomfort is an invitation to a conscious choice. Will you go back to the old programming, or will you stay firm in your new vibration? Your soul is testing your commitment, asking how devoted you are to your own liberation. You've awakened the vibration, felt it in your body, and now you're witnessing the purification it triggers. Only one crucial step remains to seal this new frequency and make it unshakable. You must ignite the flame of conscious presence that sustains this vibration, regardless of internal or external storms. And that brings us directly to the final practice, the guided chant that merges sound with intention. The deepest secret of hidden Hermeticism, designed to transform vibration into your new permanent identity. The time has come to seal your power. Many who stumble upon this knowledge stop right here at the mechanical repetition of the sound. They treat it like a mantra, a magic word that should work miracles on its own, and end up frustrated. The initiates, however, knew that sound, no matter how powerful, is only half of the equation. The real power, the golden key that opens the portal of manifestation, comes from the union of sound and feeling. I am is the code, the structure, the frequency. But the feeling of already being what you declare is the energy, the life force that activates the code and brings it to life. Before starting the practice, even before speaking the first syllable, you need to pause and connect with the final destination of your vibration. Close your eyes and ask yourself, not with your mind, but with your heart, what does it feel like to already be whole, fulfilled, and free? Don't try to construct a logical answer or visualize an image. Instead, find the physical and emotional sensation in your body. Maybe it's a warm expansion in your chest, a lightness in your shoulders like a weight has been lifted, or a deep and quiet peace spreading from your center. That feeling is your energetic signature of destiny. It's the frequency of the reality you want to embody. It's the energy you're going to use to fill the form of the sound I am. Without that energy, the sound is like a light bulb without electricity. The structure is there, but there's no light. When you unite sound with feeling, you're effectively plugging the light bulb into the universe. You're telling the quantum field not just what you want, but who you already are on a vibrational level. And the universe doesn't respond to requests, it responds to mirrored identities. Thoth referred to this process as the alchemical marriage, the sacred union of masculine and feminine principles within you. Sound, the word, the structure, is the masculine principle, active, focused, directive. Feeling, the energy, the emotion, is the feminine principle, receptive, fluid, magnetic. When these two unite in harmony within you, they create a third element, manifestation, the alchemical child. Without that union, the practice remains sterile. With it, the sound stops being repetition and becomes a dimensional portal. So, the real work isn't just to chant, but to feel. It's having the courage to evoke the feeling of gratitude for something that hasn't yet shown up in the physical world, but that you've already accepted as real in your inner world. It's feeling peace before the storm passes. It's feeling abundance before the bank account changes. This is the mastery the ancients taught. They knew creation doesn't flow from the outside in, but from the inside out. You first become in feeling before you see in form. Now, with this awareness, with the understanding that you're not just going to speak a word, but fill it with the living energy of your heart, we're truly ready for the practice that integrates everything. You're no longer just going to chant a sound. You're going to become the sound. You're going to become the vibration. And it's in this state of total union that transformation stops being a possibility and becomes an inevitable certainty, sealed into the fabric of time and space. Now, knowledge quiets down and experience takes its place. The time has come to seal everything that's been awakened. Sit with your spine upright, not with the stiffness of a soldier, but with the quiet dignity of a king or queen reclaiming their inner throne. Let your shoulders relax, your hands rest gently on your legs. This posture isn't about perfection, it's about availability. It's your body saying to the universe, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open to receive my own truth. It's an act of self-respect and presence. Take a deep breath in, not just once, but 3 times, and make each breath a conscious act of purification and intention. On the first inhale, imagine drawing in pure, crystalline energy from the source, clearing out any mental static. On the second, feel the air expanding your chest, creating space where contraction and fear once lived. And on the third and final exhale, consciously release the dust of old identities, the stories you've told yourself about who you were, letting go of all that no longer serves your new vibration. Now, with your breath flowing calmly and naturally, bring one of your hands to the center of your chest, resting it over your thymus gland. Feel the subtle warmth of your hand, the touch of your skin. This point is not random, it's your vibrational anchor point, the bridge between your spiritual energy and your physical form. By placing your attention here, you are activating this portal, preparing it to receive and amplify the sound that's about to emerge. It's your 0.D center of your personal universe. Before making any sound, evoke the feeling you practiced. Bring up the sensation of it already is. Feel the fullness, the peace, the strength, the joy, or whatever quality you want to embody as your new reality. Don't think it, feel it. Let this elevated emotion flood your body, vibrating in every cell. This is the fuel for your rocket. You're filling the engine with the energy of your intention before ignition. This is the step most people skip, and it's what makes all the difference. Then and only then, when your being is overflowing with the feeling, let the sound rise from within, from your heart, not your throat. Repeat slowly, allowing the vibration to resonate deeply. IAMMMMM. Each cycle should last about 5 seconds, the time of a full exhale. Do this 11 times, totaling the 55 seconds that will seal the frequency into your biology. There's no rush, no force, only total surrender to the process. During this chant, don't force, don't expect results, and above all, don't analyze the experience while it's happening. Simply feel the magical fusion of sound and feeling into one single, powerful vibration that expands from your center to fill your entire energy field. This is the true seal of Thoth. It's not inscribed on ancient papyrus or hidden in a tomb. It's alive, pulsing in the vibration you learn to generate and sustain within yourself right now, in this exact moment. When the last echo of the sound fades away, don't rush to open your eyes or return to the world. The most crucial moment of the practice happens in the silence that follows. Don't expect grand visions or celestial fireworks. Instead, expect something infinitely more powerful and transformative, a deep presence of silence that isn't empty, but full of potential, and a mental clarity that doesn't come from thought, but from the absence of it. It's a state of effortless being, where struggle ends and peace simply is. It's in this fertile silence that the true secret is revealed. The practice wasn't about the noise you made, but about the silence you created within yourself. It's in this space of stillness that your new frequency has the chance to settle, to integrate into your cellular structure, and to become your new fundamental tone. It's like planting a seed. After placing it in the soil, you don't dig it up every 5 minutes to see if it's growing. You leave it alone, trusting that the process is happening beneath the surface. As Thoth wisely taught, the real miracle is not what you see. It's what you stop forgetting. The practice didn't give you anything you didn't already have. It simply removed the layers of amnesia that were keeping you from remembering. The sound I am isn't an affirmation you adopt. It's the reactivation of your cosmic name, your unique vibrational signature in the symphony of the universe. And now that you've remembered, even for a brief moment, nothing else can respond to you in the same old way. Understand this: the universe doesn't respond to what you want or ask for with your lips. It responds with flawless precision to what you are, to the frequency you emit from your center of being. When you shift your fundamental vibration from I need or I don't have to the vibration of I am, you change the signal you're broadcasting. And as a result, reality, which functions like a perfect mirror, has no choice but to begin reflecting back to you experiences, people, and circumstances that match this new vibrational identity. The practice, then, doesn't end when the sound stops. In truth, it's just beginning. The real work is to carry that vibration, that sense of presence and wholeness into your everyday life. It's walking through the world not as someone who's searching, but as someone who has already found. It's watching, with almost childlike curiosity, as the outer world begins to bend gently, to reorganize in subtle and sometimes dramatic ways to meet and validate the new frequency you now consciously hold. You become an observer of everyday miracles, the parking spot that opens up exactly when you need it, the person who calls with the answer you were looking for, the solution to a problem that appears out of nowhere. None of this is coincidence. It's synchronicity in action, the harmonious dance between your inner world and the outer world. It's living proof that you're no longer fighting the current of life, but flowing with it from a place of power and grace. The deepest and most lasting consequence of this practice goes far beyond momentary feelings of peace or external synchronicities. It creates a fundamental shift in your identity, in the very root of how you see yourself and interact with the world. You stop living as an effect, a leaf in the wind, passively reacting to whatever life throws at you. Instead, you begin operating consciously as the cause of your experience, the point of origin from which your reality is generated. You step into your power as a creator. Your frequency, that unique vibrational signature you've learned to cultivate, becomes your main navigation tool. It works like an inner compass, far more accurate and reliable than logic or anyone else's opinion. You no longer need to overanalyze every decision, because you've learned to feel what's aligned with your truth and what's not. Life becomes less of a mental struggle and more of an intuitive dance, guided by the resonance of your own heart, which always knows the way. With this new internal compass, you'll start to notice real, tangible changes in your life. Synchronicities will become more frequent and meaningful. The right people, the information you need, and the opportunities that once seemed out of reach will begin to appear effortlessly in your path, simply because you're now vibrating at the frequency that attracts them. The universe conspires to support those who are aligned with their own essence, because in doing so, it is supporting itself. Your intuition, that quiet voice of the soul, will become louder and clearer. You'll simply know what to do in certain situations, without needing a logical explanation. This inner wisdom, which has always been there but was muffled by mental noise, now has a clear channel to speak to you. You'll learn to trust those insights, discovering that they guide you to the highest outcomes, through paths your rational mind could never have imagined. Perhaps one of the most liberating changes will be your ability to set healthy boundaries, naturally and without guilt. Saying no to situations, people, or requests that don't resonate with your energy will stop being a conflict. You'll realize that every no you give to something that drains your energy is a powerful yes to your own peace and vitality. This doesn't come from a place of selfishness, but from deep self-respect and the understanding that your energy is your most precious resource. You're no longer trying to be a spiritual person or practicing to reach some future state of enlightenment. You're simply being. You're living from your truth, moment by moment. And that authenticity, that courage to be who you really are, without masks and without apologies, the greatest power a human being can wield. It's the key that not only unlocks the doors to your own happiness, but also begins to impact the world around you in ways you can barely imagine. Don't make the mistake of thinking this deep transformation is a solitary act of benefit that's limited to your personal life. That's one of the greatest illusions of the ego's perspective. The truth is, your energy field doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's intrinsically connected to a vast web of consciousness that spans the entire planet. Think of yourself as a radio station. For years, you may have been broadcasting a signal of static, fear, and confusion. Now, you've learned how to tune in and transmit a clear frequency of coherence, love, and sovereignty. By changing the frequency you broadcast, you don't just change the music of your own reality, you offer a new station for everyone who enters your field of influence. This doesn't require you to preach or try to convince anyone of anything. The transmission happens on a subconscious, energetic level. The people around you, whether family, co-workers, or strangers on the street, will feel your coherence. Your calm presence can ease a tense environment. Your clarity can inspire a solution in someone who was confused. Studies on field consciousness have already proven this phenomenon conclusively. A single individual in a deep state of heart coherence can positively affect the heart rhythms and brain. Waves of people several feet away without any verbal or physical interaction. Your energy becomes a tuning fork. By vibrating in your true note, you help, through resonance, tune all the other instruments around you, inviting them to remember their own innate harmony. By healing and aligning yourself, you become what could be called an acupuncture point for the planet. Just like an acupuncture needle is placed in a specific spot on the body to release the energy flow of an entire meridian, your coherent presence is inserted into the Earth's energy grid to help release blockages in the collective body of humanity. You become a beacon, anchoring a frequency of sovereignty, peace, and love that contributes directly to the global awakening. That's why your inner work, the one you do in the silence of your room, is the most generous and politically radical act you can take. In a world that profits from your fear and your distraction, choosing presence and coherence is an act of peaceful rebellion. You're pulling your energy out of the control system and reinvesting it in the liberation of consciousness. You're helping build a new paradigm, not through struggle, but through the embodiment of a new possibility. So let go of any guilt you might feel about focusing on yourself. The journey inward is the journey that impacts the whole the most. Every time you choose peace over drama, compassion over judgment, presence over distraction, you're raising not only your own vibration, but the vibration of all humanity. You become part of the solution at the most fundamental level of existence. But for that impact to be lasting, the flame you lit must be nurtured and maintained. The initial activation you experienced is like lighting a campfire. It's powerful, radiant, and transformative. But if you walk away and don't tend to it, the fire will eventually go out, leaving only embers and ashes. True mastery doesn't lie in lighting the fire, it lies in the art of keeping it burning, consistently, until it becomes a steady flame that lights your life every day. The goal is to turn the temporary vibrational state you reached into a permanent personality trait, your new nature. To achieve this, you need to integrate the practice into your life in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Consistency matters more than intensity. It's better to practice for 1 minute every day than for 1 hour once a month. Create a small morning ritual. Before checking your phone, before connecting with the demands of the world, connect with yourself first. Dedicate those 55 seconds to chanting I am, setting the frequency for your day. You're tuning your instrument before you begin playing the symphony of the day. Use the practice as a reset tool throughout the day. Whenever you feel stressed, overwhelmed, or disconnected, find a quiet spot, even if it's just for a minute in the office bathroom. Pause, place your hand on your chest, close your eyes, and silently chant I am in your mind, focusing only on the vibration and the feeling. This act works as a reboot for your nervous system, pulling you out of reaction mode and bringing you back to your center of power and peace in seconds. Learn to use sound as an anchoring tool for your intentions. Before an important meeting, a tough conversation, or any situation that demands your best, anchor yourself first in your I am vibration. This completely changes the energy you bring to the moment. Instead of entering from a place of anxiety or neediness, You walk in from a place of fullness and self-trust. People will feel this difference in your presence, and the interaction will unfold in a much more harmonious and productive way. Always remember the intention behind the practice. You're not doing a ritual to get something from the universe. That mindset comes from scarcity. You're practicing to remember who you already are. It's an act of remembrance, not of begging. Every time you chant the sound, you're strengthening the neural and energetic pathway to that truth, making it easier and more natural to access. You're training your being to live from your essence over and over until forgetting becomes impossible. With time and consistent practice, you'll notice that you no longer have to try so hard to maintain the frequency. It becomes your default state. Peace, clarity, and presence will no longer be something you have to activate. They'll simply be your way of being in the world. The flame will become self-sustaining. And it's from that platform of vibrational stability that the real journey begins. Because the key you've used doesn't just open a room, it opens an entire universe of possibilities. It's crucial that you understand that the sound I am is not the final destination of your spiritual journey. It's the master Kether, first and most important tool that opens the main door of your inner temple. Many, upon finding this key, believe they've reached the end of the path, but, in truth, they've only arrived at the entry hole. By learning to stabilize this frequency of sovereignty, you haven't finished the work. You've qualified to begin the work at a deeper and more fascinating level. You've gained access to layers of consciousness that were previously out of reach. Thoth, in his more advanced teachings, made it clear that mastery of the word of sound was only the first step in the trinity of creation. After learning to create form through sound vibration, the initiate was then trained to work with the second element, the sacred geometry of light. This involves learning to use the mind and intention to project patterns of light and geometric forms that can program energy in even more complex and precise ways. Building energetic structures for healing, protection, and manifestation. And beyond the light lies the third and most powerful element, the primordial silence. This is not the mere absence of sound, but the quantum vacuum, the matrix of all potential, the womb from which all creation emerges. After mastering sound and light, the initiate learns to dive into this silence, to become one with the zero-point field. It is from this state of no mind and pure potential that instant manifestation becomes possible. Sound creates the form, light fills it with energy, and silence holds it in existence. Now that the door is open, the journey truly begins. You have become the keeper of your own flame, the master of your own vibration. You no longer need to seek answers outside of yourself. The map, the compass, and the treasure are all within you. The universe stops being a strange and sometimes hostile place that must be feared or conquered. It reveals itself as an intelligent and loving dance partner, responding with joy and precision to every step you take, to every note you sing. You learn to live in a state of flow, of conscious co-creation. You send your intentions into the field from a place of wholeness, and then you let go, allowing the infinite intelligence of the universe to orchestrate the details, in a way far more magnificent than your limited mind could ever imagine. Struggle gives way to trust, effort gives way to grace, and fear gives way to a deep and unshakable love for the adventure of life, with all its twists and surprises. So, celebrate this moment. You have reclaimed the most important key to your power. You have remembered how to sing the song of your soul. But know that this song is only the first verse of an infinite and glorious cosmic opera. Keep practicing, keep going deeper, keep exploring the vast realms of your own being. The door is open. The path stretches out before you, bright and full of promise. The adventure of a lifetime, the true adventure, has just begun. If you've made it this far, to the very end, know that this is not a coincidence. It's a clear sign that your vibration is already shifting and that you're ready to remember who you truly are. To anchor this energy and connect with each other as a collective, type in the comments, "I am the living remembrance." That way, we activate this field of power and reconnection together. And if you feel that this content helped you and you'd like to support the channel in a more direct way, I left a contribution link in the first pinned comment. Any help you can give is incredibly important to me and to the growth of the channel, allowing this message to reach even more people who are ready to awaken. But know this: just the fact that you watched all the way to the end is already a massive help. And if you can, share this video with someone you feel needs to hear this. And don't leave just yet. Your journey doesn't end here. I've prepared a special video as the next step for those who made it to the end. It's a complimentary piece that will show you how to use the energy you just activated in an even more powerful way. The video is already on the screen. Click it now and I'll meet you there.